Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the Blue Honor Vlog. I am Kay Williams, author of Blue Honor, Opdeck, Operation Deceit, and the Trilokia Trilogy. On today's episode, we're going to talk about where to get more help with publishing and marketing. It really comes down to your research skills. How you know to discern between something that's too good to be true, fly-by-nights. There are a number of sites out there that can victimize an author who's not wary. So unfortunately, last I had seen, Predators and Editors was looking for a new caretaker because it had become too much for the person who was doing it. And that used to be an excellent resource because you could go out and research publishing and marketing and then come back and look for those entities in there and see if they had any reviews, etc. And you could get a little help deciding from there. Another place that's really great that you can reach out to are the various like genre sites. There's a site out there for science fiction, thrillers, etc. Like a member of a thriller group, ITW member, and you can go there. They should have some resources for you as well. And don't be afraid to ask. Remember, if you've been paying attention to the blog, I will have talked about making sure that you have peers. You don't want to do this alone. I know that a lot of people feel like, well, other authors are my competition. That's not entirely true. They are your peers, they're your co-workers, and you need to forge relationships with them because you can help one another out, and it's very important to your growth as an author to do so. So don't cut people out just because it's another author, and you know, it's not going to serve you very well. A really great resource for marketing, which you're going to have to do on your own, whether you're published by a big, you know, top tier publisher or not. They are not going to have a marketing package for you unless that's specifically written into the contract. And even if they do, it's going to be non-committal and peanuts. You just have to face facts. Unless you're J.K. Rowling, they're not going to be rolling out the dough to market your book to people. That is considered your job. In most cases, those large publishing houses expect you to already come with X amount of readers, and they expect that you know how to do this already, and they will be looking at your social media to see what your reach is and what you've done and how successful you've been in implementing your marketing. So the site I was just about to tell you about was Bad Redhead Media. I think it's Bad Redhead Media. I'm sorry, Rachel. But her Rachel's site is an excellent resource. I use her constantly to go in and check things out, read articles. She's constantly got tips. She knows, pardon my language, she knows her shit. She knows what she's talking about, and if you want to brush her aside, that's fine. You know, no big deal. You can do that. You can choose to ignore the advice, but she has seriously good advice. I've taken her 30-day marketing challenge, and at that time I had already been acquainted with her. I had already been following her. I had already been applying her advice and growing my readership in my social media and reaching out and just getting bigger, bigger, and bigger. But there was still room to learn. So even if you feel like I've learned everything that I need to know about marketing, that's probably not true. So you want to make sure, and I keep a folder underneath in my search engine called marketing, and it contains a lot of stuff where I've found things, Blogger Help, HubSpot's ideas, Co-Promote that I wrote an article about a while ago, and now I have no idea what's up with them because their server's been down. At the time that I'm taping this, it's been down for about 2 months, so I think they're most likely dead, but they could make a comeback, who knows, by the time this airs. As for specific things, ask me questions down below. If I don't have the answer, I'll find someone who does, and I'll make sure that you get the answer to that question. You're probably wondering about BookBub, about doing blog tours, etc. There's mixed answers with any of that stuff. My experience will not be your experience, will not be the next person's experience. It entirely relies on your book, what the market is looking for at the time, and the people who are going to those specific blogs. So you need to make sure that when somebody does a blog tour for you, you're doing a genre appropriate blog tour. So there's a lot to think about, there's a lot to learn, but I would check out Bad Redhead, get some tips from there, and start making your research folder on marketing, and make one on publishing, and make your notes. This is something you're just going to have to do pretty much on your own. The good thing about social media is, like Facebook, there are groups out there dedicated to authors, and if you have a question, that's an appropriate place to ask it. You don't want to go friending an author like on Twitter, LinkedIn, or anywhere else and go, hey, do you have a minute? Can I ask you some questions? And blah, blah, blah. And a lot of times they don't have a minute. And the stuff that you're asking, they did a lot of hard work, to research that, and Google is your friend. So it would be just as easy to go into Google and literally write out your question and do a search. Okay? A lot easier than waiting for an author to get back to you, because in some cases they don't respond to private messages. I know there's a group of authors who find private messaging very rude. They also do not like automated messages. So those options to, such as Twitter, when somebody writes you a private message, that it automatically sends out a response. Or when somebody follows you, there's an auto response. It's best to get rid of those, because most people don't like them, and they will delete you immediately. And you don't want to be fighting to get followers or a network or whatever you're looking to do, because you're annoying people. So you really have to think about how intrusive is it to go and ask this question of someone on Facebook. If they have made a post and they said, ask me your questions, like I just did earlier in this video, and said, please ask me your questions below, and I'll see, I will try to get to them. I don't expect to be inundated with 500 million questions. Who knows, this might be the video that goes viral, right? And then I'm like, I can't answer all these questions. But the cool thing is on a thread like that, you'll have other authors who will step in and answer that question. But if you do ask me a question, no doubt you're probably going to be like one of a few, and I will take the time to respond as I can. Okay? Thanks. I will see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, and go to my site, authorkwilliams.com, and subscribe to the blog, and you'll get a weekly email with my posts. Thanks.